All right, let's talk about one of America's most chilling, most enduring cold cases. It's a story that starts on what should have been a perfect Christmas Eve and spirals into a mystery that, honestly, defies all explanation even to this day. So I want you to picture the scene. It's 1945. World War II has just wrapped up. In the little coal mining town of Fayetteville, West Virginia, the Sodder family is, living their version of the American dream, all settling in for a cozy Christmas celebration. George and Jennie Sodder, they had this big, bustling family. 9 of their 10 kids were home for the holidays. The older ones got permission to stay up a little late to play with their new toys. Their house was just filled with that warmth and holiday cheer. But this perfect family picture, it was about to be completely shattered. The very first sign that something was wrong came at 12:30 in the morning. A phone call jars Jennie Sodder awake. It's a wrong number, some woman asking for a person she's never heard of. But right before hanging up, the caller lets out this strange, chilling laugh that would just haunt Jennie for the rest of her life. And just an hour after that phone call, that perfect Christmas scene just erupts into a total nightmare. A fire tears through the Sodder home with terrifying speed, and in all the chaos, it really seems like everything that could possibly go wrong did. I mean, look at this timeline. It's just shocking. At 1 a.m., Jennie hears this loud thud on the roof, like something heavy rolling down. By 1:30, she wakes up again, and the house is thick with smoke. In the panic, George, Jennie, and 4 of their children managed to scramble outside, but five of them remained trapped upstairs. And it wasn't until 8 o'clock the next morning that any official help showed up. By then, it was way too late. They were just completely helpless. You see, every single attempt they made to rescue their kids was met with some impossible failure. George, in a panic, runs to get his ladder, which he always kept leaning right against the side of the house. It was gone, vanished. So he tries to start his 2 work trucks, thinking he could pull them up to the window. Neither one would turn over, even though they worked perfectly just the day before. The phone line? Dead. The water barrel they might have used? Frozen solid. Every single possible way to help was inexplicably blocked. And the fire itself, it was unnaturally fast. The entire 2-story timber house was reduced to a pile of ash in just 45 minutes. Can you imagine? 45 minutes. The family could do absolutely nothing but watch in horror. So when the sun finally came up on Christmas morning, everyone was expecting the absolutely grim task of recovering the remains of the 5 children. But what they found in that rubble, or actually what they didn't find, is what turned this horrible tragedy into one of the most profound mysteries of all time. And this is the absolute heart of the mystery. After sifting through every single inch of ash, they found nothing. No bones, no teeth, not a single fragment of Maurice, Martha, Louis, Jennie, or Betty. So the question that just baffled everybody was simple. How on earth could 5 children just vanish from inside a burning house? Okay, so this is where it gets really interesting. This clash between the official report and, well, basic science. The fire department's official line was that the fire was so hot it just completely cremated the bodies. But here's the thing. Experts both then and now say that's pretty much impossible. A modern crematorium burns at nearly 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit, and it still takes over 2 hours to reduce a body to bone fragments. A 45-minute house fire, it simply could not have erased them without a trace. It just doesn't add up. Faced with this completely impossible conclusion, the Sodders just refused to believe their children were dead. So they started their own investigation. And what they began to uncover suggested that this was no accident. This was something far more sinister. And the clues they found were chilling. The official cause of the fire was faulty wiring, but George knew that was wrong. The house had just been rewired and declared safe. But even more disturbing, George was an outspoken critic of the Italian dictator Benito Mussolini, and he'd received direct threats. A man had actually told him his house would go up in smoke and his children would be destroyed because of his political opinions. And this wasn't just a hunch. A bus driver later came forward saying he saw people throwing balls of fire at the house that night. George even found a weird pineapple-shaped object in the yard that looked a lot like a napalm bomb. And then, the sightings started coming in. The Sodders began hearing from people who claimed to have seen the children after the fire. One of the most compelling accounts came from a waitress working in a diner about 50 miles away. She swore on her life she served breakfast to the 5 kids on Christmas morning. Another credible tip came from a hotel worker in Charleston. She said she saw the children with the group, 2 men and 2 women, all of Italian extraction. And she said the adults were really hostile and wouldn't let her talk to the kids. The second she approached, they immediately started talking in rapid Italian. The Sodders just never, ever gave up hope. They poured every cent they had into the search, which eventually led to this iconic billboard on Route 16. For more than 30 years, the faces of their 5 missing children stared out at passing cars, a constant, heartbreaking plea for answers. George and Jennie followed leads all over the country for decades. And then, more than 20 years after that terrible night, they received what might be the most chilling and tantalizing clue of the entire case. So, for 22 years, the case had gone completely cold. The family had followed countless dead ends. Then, one day in 1967, a letter shows up addressed to Jennie. No return address, just a postmark from Central City, Kentucky. Inside that envelope was a photograph of a young man, probably in his late 20s. And the resemblance to their son Louis, who was 9 when he disappeared, it was undeniable. Same dark curly hair, same distinctively shaped eyes. On the back, there was a cryptic message that included the line, "I love brother Frankie," and it was signed Louis Sodder. The family was absolutely electrified. They immediately hired a private detective to go to Kentucky and figure out where this letter and photo came from. The detective took their money, went to Kentucky, and was never seen or heard from again, which, just adds another insane layer of mystery to this already baffling case. So, where does all this leave us? Well, today there are really 3 main theories that people talk about. Was it all just a tragic, though very bizarre accident? A uniquely hot fire and a totally botched investigation hiding the real evidence? Or was it a kidnapping, maybe by the mafia, to punish George for his political opinions? Or was it an elaborate cover-up where multiple people conspired to set the fire, abduct the children, and make absolutely sure no escape or rescue was ever possible? George and Jennie Sodder went to their graves never knowing what really happened. The billboard is gone now, but the mystery is still there. So did 5 children die on Christmas morning in 1945? Or, and this is the really haunting part, did they live on, maybe having children and grandchildren of their own, completely unaware of the heartbreaking story they left behind? The questions still haunt that small town, and frankly, they haunt all of us, even today.